When you hit your own resistance, circumstances can become powerful currents that drag you under. As you sink in moods, you lose your natural buoyancy and common sense. The more dense you are about life, the deeper you sink. One man got mad at his wife and drove his car off a pier. He totaled his car and had to pay $7,000 in fines. You don't have to raise your consciousness much to transcend the lower forces. Next to a 2-year-old, a 5-year-old seems cosmic. Just as you wouldn't let a 2-year-old drive your car, refuse to let your childish level of consciousness drive you off the deep end. When you are upset, people often say, "Don't do anything stupid." You have a free mind. You don't have to become stupid. When you're under emotional pressure, keep still, be patient, and you'll soon float to the top. As you come up for air, you leave your black moods below. The world looks less cloudy and distorted. Your perceptions are sharper and clearer. As you move closer to the sunlight, you see more clearly. You have a sense of clear sailing and deep optimism. You see the world in its true light. You see the world as a sparkling, vivid paradise. In good moods, you walk better, look better, sound better, even breathe better. Your breathing is a good indicator of your psychological functioning. In good states, you breathe deeply and rhythmically. As you start to sink in mood, your breathing becomes rapid, irregular, and shallow, as if you're drowning and gasping for air. You may literally hold your breath as you do a simple task. In lower moods, your body becomes rigid and constricted. You become physically tense as you psychologically sink. One simple way to short-circuit feelings of insecurity is to breathe slowly and deeply. If you are holding on and making everything heavy, lighten up and let go. As your body relaxes, you'll find it easier to experience your positive feelings. Just as a relaxed body leads to good feelings lead to a relaxed body. As a human, you are highly adaptive. If you are bogged down and soaked in negativity long enough, you start to take to negativity like fish to water. You can become used to living at 20,000 leagues beneath the sea. You become Mr. Neptune, a denizen of the depths. You focus on what makes you feel bad and ignore what makes you feel good. You may have trouble tolerating good feelings. Harmony may lead you to feel anxious, like a heroin addict who panics when he starts to feel clean and happy. You don't know what to do with yourself. Start by feeling good for short spells. Then stay with your good feelings until feeling good becomes second nature. God won't get jealous if you feel good. The universe won't punish you. You can start to evolve and learn to live outside of water, just as early organisms did. As you begin to learn to live outside of water, you often feel insecure. As you move forward into uncharted waters, you may be vulnerable to rough seas and emotional storms. Keep in mind the principle that thought creates reality and the principle that your good mood creates your consciousness. When you're caught up in a bad patch, use these principles to ride out the storm. Like getting an occasional cold, you'll get down now and then. The right combination of factors will converge and you'll sink into a funk. But by taking better care of yourself, you can learn to have fewer colds, and you can learn not to let them turn into pneumonia. Keep in mind you will always surface. You can't hold your breath underwater forever. Eventually you have to come up. At some point, you'll get bored with your problems and you'll start to feel good again. You'll then realize you are back to that good mood you want. Appreciate your relapses. It's good to take an occasional emotional dip. That's how you become a better swimmer. Waves of reality are always striking against you. Now and then a riptide will drag you under. Learn to appreciate your occasional bad moods and trust you'll resurface into a wiser state. Counter your instinctive urge to hang on to the problems that are pulling you down. This is important. You don't have to solve the problems that are holding you under before you can rise to the top. You can simply let go of your problems until you are feeling better. From the higher perspective of good feelings, you'll be better able to deal with your problems. Trying to solve your problems at a low level is like trying to get water off with water. Carl Jung wrote near the end of his career that his patients never solved their problems. They simply transcended them. You may think you must solve the problem or it will come back to haunt you forever, like a chronic disease. You can't solve bad moods, but you can rise above them. You may feel compelled to talk to yourself and others about your problem. Repeating your sad stories keeps you down and feeds your resistance. After you rise from a bleak mood, take another look and you'll realize the reasoning behind your melodrama was all wet. As you shed light on your problems, they will naturally start to evaporate. From a higher state of mind, you'll barely be able to remember what the problem was. The forces of evolution put good feelings at the top of the ladder so that you'll be motivated to move upward. You are psychologically weighted toward feeling good. As you drop your negative thoughts, you will naturally rise to a higher mood. Being happy is easy. You have to work at staying down and unhappy. No matter how far down you are, let go of what you're holding on to, and you will naturally surface. Stop thinking about your problems even for a moment or two, and you'll feel better. Your spontaneous good feelings are the life preserver that will take you to higher levels. Your ego, your desire to be important, capsizes you into lower moods. As your ego, your illusion that you are special, bloats, you sink. Your ego wants to tie your good feelings to outside circumstances, but at any moment you can cut the ties that hold you to the bottom. It's simple. Just be impersonal about the ups and downs in life. Don't take the litter in the streets personally. Don't take something you read in the paper or hear on the radio as a personal attack. You can feel happy even if you're in miserable circumstances. Your thoughts make you unhappy. Drop unhappy thoughts, and your mood will immediately start to rise. Dwelling on your past is like tying a string from your toe to the Titanic. When you drop in mood, you often think the only way to get unstuck is to return to the past and resolve what originally got you stuck. This can keep you in the murky bottom waters for years. In a lifetime, you have more than billions and billions of negative and positive memories. Everyone has traumatic past experiences. You always have at least two versions of your childhood, a heavy and a light one. To have a good life right now, drop the heavy one. Stick your hands down in the roots of the problem and grope around for the answer, and you'll tangle yourself hopelessly in the past. Many influences went into your makeup. You can never get to the bottom of it all. In a low state, you have a skewed picture of your past. Once you rise to a higher level of consciousness, you'll be able to see your past in better perspective. You can quit thinking about the past without being lobotomized or having electric shock treatment. Simply let your unhappy thoughts about the past come in one ear and out the other. Why dig around in your past? You won't find the hidden secret that will make you happy today. Your memory is a treasure chest of boogeymen, complexes, and assorted craziness. You could keep looking forever. Listen to this. The real treasure is to be able to say to yourself, "Thank God none of that has anything to do with my ability to be happy now." You can raise your level of consciousness in a moment. Simply see how your thoughts and moods go hand in hand. Drop a destructive thought, and all of a sudden the world looks better, and you start to have more positive and constructive thoughts. Make life too serious, and you sink like a stone. As soon as you make something heavy, you lose your natural buoyancy. Seriousness is the ingredient that turns the ordinary into the problematic. Make money serious, and you'll have problems with money. Make your health serious, and you'll have health problems. Make your life serious, and you'll have problems with everything. When you are in deep waters, you believe your problems really are important. Your ego is like a funeral director that stays in business by making everything solemn and serious. Your ego hates humor. Take life more lightly, and your ego disappears. Your ego wants you to think your problems are serious. But you make something serious by thinking it is serious. Sickness, death, and old age are only serious if you think they are. Even if you are sick and dying, you don't have to make yourself miserable. Your thinking is such a natural and automatic process, you often can't see it. When you are under the spell of a first or second force, you forget your thinking. It's like the two fish that jumped out of the water. As they were in the air, one fish pointed to the water and said, "Now that's the stuff I was talking about." You are unaware that your thinking is creating your reality, just as fish are unaware they are in water. Start by acknowledging that you are underwater. Take some understanding with you when you drop in mood, and use this understanding like a periscope. Realize once your head is above water again, you'll see the world differently. In lower moods, you are seeing your problems with a fisheye distortion. Make your problems less serious, and you stand a better chance of succeeding at all levels of life. Be sincere about your aims, not serious. Sincerity is as different from seriousness as land is from water. When you are sincere, your thoughts, feelings, and actions are congruent. You say what you mean, and you mean what you say. Trying to figure out the right method for getting rid of your bad feelings is like trying to figure out how many gallons of water are in the Pacific Ocean. You only increase the pressure you are under. You think about negativity when you try to control or figure it out, so you have more of it. You don't float to the top by adding something, but by letting go of excess weight. Toss overboard whatever is making you feel bad. You need understanding, not techniques. When you are psychologically submerged, you beat your head against a wall and then complain about a headache. You don't need an aspirin. You need insight into the folly of your actions. If someone said to you, "I keep beating my head against the wall and it hurts," you would probably say, "Are you crazy?" If they then ask, "Well, what's the best technique to stop beating my head against the wall?" you would probably say, "You don't need a technique. Just stop doing it." Are you a lifeguard looking to rescue others? You can give others a hand, but first they need to want to be saved. More often than not, when you give them a hand, they'll pull you down. Some people have to hit bottom before they can bounce up. Trying to rescue others can actually hold them down as well as pull you under. Are you looking for others to rescue you? As a general rule, people don't like victims. Refuse to complain about your bad feelings. This is inconsiderate and drags others down. You may complain that people don't support you enough, which means others are tired of listening to you. When you feel bad, you often feel compelled to complain. Voicing your complaints can torpedo and sink others. You feel better temporarily because they feel bad. But this is short-lived and frees others to torpedo you the next time you are feeling good. When you are sinking and you start having heavy negative thoughts that you want to voice, do the opposite and let them go. No need to hang on to them. Realize when you are psychologically healthy, you'll get along better with others. The invisible barrier between you disappears. The higher you go, the less pressure you feel from others and the world. You feel as if the weight of the world is lifted off of you. In low moods, you are food for sharks. People are more likely to attack you when you're down. They smell the blood. When you're in a high state, others usually leave you alone, and if they do attack, you can offhandedly dismiss the attack. You can see that you don't benefit from sinking to their level. Staying in a stable, high mood when others are submerged helps you see through their antics and insincerity. You clearly see that those who once intimidated you aren't as bright and clever as they think they are. Refuse to let others sandbag you. Power comes from being non-reactive. If you hold your higher ground, they may come up to your level. In the same vein, when you feel shark-like, take the opposite tack. Rather than attack others, go in the opposite direction and be friendly. Powerlessness is getting angry when others provoke you. Power is being able to stay above the attack. Tell the truth. Just admit that you are in a bad mood and the direction of your mood changes. You punch holes in your lifeboat when you lie to yourself. Your mood is in constant motion. It is either ascending or descending. Telling the truth, the third force, is how you stay in balance. By being honest, you can switch from descending to ascending moods. To rise to the top, look for a pleasant upcurrent and ride that to the top. You can learn to ride the crest of your good moods and stay in a higher place more of the time. Once you are out of your bad mood, become like a seagull that rides the air currents. Let the air currents naturally lift you higher. If you start to fall, just catch the next updraft that carries you to a higher place. Aim for good feelings in everything you do. Good feelings are intrinsically wonderful. Because your life is made up of feelings, aim for the best feelings you can possibly have. Key into good feelings and let them guide you. Good feelings are the light you aim for and the means for getting there. Learn to read your feelings the way pilots read a plane's instruments. Pilots who fly over stormy seas ignore their instincts and trust their instruments. When your mind is clouded, you may think you are going up when you are really going down, or that you are losing altitude when you are really gaining. Learn to read and trust your feelings instead of your judgment. You may, for example, drop from a feeling of calm into excitement and think, boy, am I up. Making the mistake of going for excitement will cause you to crash. You end up lost instead of heading for your original destination. Excitement comes from your ego and ultimately keeps you in lower levels. Excitement is like getting the bends. It's a sign you are coming up too fast. You can't trust yourself when you are in a low mood, but you can trust that your bad and overly excited feelings are pointing you in the wrong direction. Your feelings are your instrument panel. By learning to read them, you avoid getting lost at sea. When you're in deep, turbulent water, your thinking is overactive. You flap your arms around, wildly trying to save yourself, but you are actually drowning. Slow your racing mind down. A quiet mind is a buoyant mind. As your mind stops thrashing around, you'll begin to float to the top. Shift your focus or energy from your thinking to good feelings, and you are no longer dead in the water. Look for good feelings the way you would look for the North Star if you were lost at sea. Just as you can increase your hearing sensitivity by wearing a blindfold, you can increase your sensitivity to good feelings by quieting your thinking. When you meditate, you quiet your mind down and allow good feelings to emerge. You can quiet your mind down in countless other ways, from watching television to playing tennis. If using your good feelings is new to you, switching to the higher part of your feeling center can be like switching from being right-handed to being a lefty. At first, it is awkward, unnatural, and you forget to do it most of the time. But with practice, it becomes a new habit. Thoughts are heavier than feelings. Your feeling will naturally rise to a higher level unless you attach your thoughts to them. Don't think about why you feel good. Just feel it. When you analyze your good feelings, you kill them off. Your thoughts tie you to the past and future and sink your mood. The natural order is for your feelings to move up. Experience a bad feeling without thinking about your problem, and your bad feeling will naturally turn into a better feeling. You had a richer emotional life as a child because you used your feelings more and your thinking less. As you grew up, you began to reverse this. You took energy from your feeling to keep your thinking going. You don't have to do strenuous exercise for 3 hours or spend $1,000 to go to Hawaii before you can feel good. Learn to give way to feelings of awe, innocence, and mystery. Subtle good feelings are still within you, and you can learn to feel them. Simply start to look for good feelings and pay more attention to them when they appear. Look for warm, vivid feelings of well-being you have around special holidays. Look for the diamond sparkle you see on the ocean on clear days and the gold gleam of falling leaves. Look for feelings of gratitude, of aliveness, non-contingent peaceful feelings you have walking on the beach or watching children play. Bring good feelings to whatever you are doing. If there is something you are avoiding, focus on having good feelings toward it, and you'll start to move toward it. Simply decide to enjoy whatever you are doing for its own sake. If you give a talk, for example, create a good feeling toward the audience and the talk. If you give the talk without feeling, you'll come across as a cold fish. In all relationships, the feelings you have toward the other person is all important. If the good feelings are there, the rest takes care of itself. Feeling good is stacked in your favor. It feels good to feel good. Realize as you move toward good moods, you move to greater wisdom, understanding, and adaptability. As you come to understand your psychology, you will spend less time in the water and more time airborne. Turn the tape over for more on how you can learn to be happy.